February 23, 2026, 3 completely unrelated alarm systems went off. Same day, same 24 hours, and nobody connected them, not one major outlet. Alarm 1. A magnitude 7.1 earthquake just tore open the seafloor off the coast of Malaysia. That's the energy equivalent of 45 Hiroshima bombs underground. Nobody felt it on the surface, which is actually the scary part. Alarm 2. The sun went completely blank. 0 sunspots. First time that's happened since 2022. Alarm 3. Lightning cracked across the sky over Manhattan while it was actively snowing. Snow lightning. So rare that most meteorologists go their entire careers without ever witnessing it. Here's the thing, nobody's talking about those 3 events. Not separate stories. Same system, same driver, expressing itself 3 different ways on the same day. And that system just entered the most dangerous 10-day window of 2026. Fair warning, stick around to the 6-minute mark. That's where the exact danger dates get laid out, confirmed by 3 independent sources. And at 10:30, the snow lightning physics that 99% of meteorologists will never put on the air. Let's start with what just got confirmed, because 10 days ago, a forecast went on the record. 2 specific dates flagged as critical windows, February 16th and February 21st. The tool that made that call is called SSGI Solar System Geometry Index, openly published independent research model. It tracks electromagnetic geometry between planets, not the gravitational pull you learned about in middle school. The core idea, specific planetary angles 45, 90, 135 degrees correspond to electromagnetic wave interference. Earth's crust responds measurably. So, what actually happened on those 2 flagged dates, February 16th? A magnitude 6.1 earthquake cluster. Right on schedule. Then February 20th through the 23rd, 4 earthquakes, magnitude 6.0 or larger, in just 3 days. Capped by the M7.1 Malaysia on the 22nd, which was the first magnitude 7+ quake in 76 days. The seismic drought that everyone had been watching had ended exactly on the predicted date, to within 24 hours. So, here's the question that should be keeping you in your seat right now. What does the same model show for the next 10 days? Spoiler, it's not quiet. The answer is 7 planetary alignment convergences packed between February 23rd and March 4th. 7 in 10 days. That's the tightest cluster of 2026, and it's not even close. Think of it like ocean swells rolling in during a storm, each individual wave manageable. But when 3 or 4 of them stack on top of each other, that's when boats sink, and that's what's happening here. Cluster 1, February 23rd to 25th, Sun, Venus, Neptune, Sun, Venus, Saturn, both within 24 hours of each other. Then Sun, Mercury, Jupiter on the 25th at that exact same moment. The Moon hits 90 degrees from Mars, Uranus conjunction, 45 degrees from Jupiter. All 4, under 12 hours. Historical response to this type of convergence, M5.5 to M6.0 plus earthquakes within the following 48 hours. Not every single time, but consistently enough that it's been flagged. Watch the Pacific, February 24th to 25th. Forecast for February 24th to 25th, M5.5 to M6.0 probable, M6 plus possible, Ring of Fire broad watch zone. Now here's where it gets serious, Cluster 2. February 27th into March 1st, and this one is a different animal. Venus, Mercury, Earth alignment. Not Venus lining up with some planet 400 million miles away. Earth is inside the geometry. You right now are literally inside this alignment. At the same time, Moon at 135 degrees from Mars, 45 degrees from Uranus, direct conjunction with Jupiter. All converging on the 27th. Within a 6-hour window, forecasted seismic burst M6 to M7 range, late on the 27th into the 28th. And that M7.1 on the 22nd, it already primed the faults. It injected stress into every fault zone within 500 miles above it. Fiji had 2 deep M6 plus events just 12 days apart. It remains the #1 watch zone heading into this window. 320, hold on. Because here's the story, the entire media cycle got completely backwards this week. You've probably seen the headlines everywhere. Planetary parade, February 28th, 7 planets in the sky. Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Mercury. Social media went absolutely nuts. Rarest event of the decade. And here's where it gets straight up frustrating. That parade verified by solar system geometry modeling. It's an optical illusion. It's what the planets look like from Earth, from our angle, our perspective. From above the solar system, Uranus is roughly 1.8 billion miles from Venus right now. Jupiter is even farther, nowhere near each other. Zero electromagnetic geometry. Zero seismic significance. The effect on earthquake probability exactly zero. Meanwhile, the real alignment happening that same day. February 28th, Venus, Mercury, Earth. Actual 3D solar system geometry with Earth inside it. Full lunar angular convergence, documented track record, repeatable. That one has zero coverage, zero hashtags, zero viral posts. Everyone's pointing cameras at a pretty visual trick. The thing actually worth watching has no audience. Okay, before we get to the exact danger dates, there's a second clock running, a 3-day countdown. Sunspot group AR4366. Write that down. You're going to hear it again real soon. Back in early February, AR4366 fired off 6 X-class solar flares in a single week. X-class is the top of the scale. 1 X10 plus blacks out radio across entire hemispheres instantaneously. AR4366 came within hours of triggering a modern Carrington-class event. NOAA solar physicists were on around-the-clock monitoring shifts. A scientist on the NOAA team later said off the record, "We were genuinely sweating that one. 6 X flares in 7 days, that's extreme." Then it rotated to the far side on February 10th, 12 days ago. NOAA's 5-day radio blackout risk dropped from 45% to near zero within 48 hours. Amateur radio operators across the country noticed the HF bands go quiet overnight. 10 to 30 megahertz suddenly wide open. Eerie. They knew something had rotated away. But here's what NOAA's helioseismology data is showing right now. AR4366 is still alive back there on the far side. Still a large sunspot cluster likely spanning 1,000 plus kilometers. JSOC Farside Imaging confirms it. Stereo A satellite confirms it. And it's been firing CMEs into deep space every 48 hours quietly while out of Earth view. In 3 to 4 days, it rotates back, directly into Earth-facing position, right back at us. And the timing. Right into the February 27th to March 4th window, the same exact dates as the Planetary alignment seismic forecast. 2 completely independent alarm systems converging on the exact same window, independently. In seismology, a fault doesn't randomly decide to snap. It needs a trigger on top of already accumulated stress. The M7.1 on February 22nd. That was a massive stress injection. It loaded every shallow fault above it within 500 miles. A retired seismologist in Honolulu put it to colleagues this way: "We basically pressure washed every fault within 500 miles from 386 miles below." The forest is dry right now. The spark windows are February 27th and March 3rd. The moment it all connects 3 independent sources that almost never agree on anything. Source 1. The SSGI Planetary Geometry Model. 2 peak risk windows, both with documented precedent. Window, February 27th into March 1st. Driver Venus, Mercury, Earth in actual 3D solar system geometry. On top of that, full lunar angular convergence, all hitting within 6 hours, 135 degrees from Mars, 45 degrees from Uranus, Jupiter conjunction. When inner and outer planet geometry stacks this tight, the following 24 to 48 hours show elevated seismic response. Consistently. Expected magnitude range for window 1 M6.5 to M7.5. And if the fault stress is already at the high end, magnitude 8 is on the table. That's Fiji 2007 territory. That's Pacific Coast Tsunami Advisory territory. Primary watch Fiji first, Papua New Guinea second. Window 2. March 2nd through 5th. More complex, potentially more dangerous than window 1. March 2nd, Mercury, Sun, Mars alignment. Moon simultaneously in opposition with Mars. Mars is the connector. Then within 24 hours, a full moon, but not just any full moon. Here's where it actually gets wild. March 3rd, 2026, total lunar eclipse. Visible from the entire Pacific coast. Hawaii in full totality. First U.S. visible total lunar eclipse in 3 years. And immediately after the eclipse, Mercury-Venus-Neptune conjunction. Then Mercury-Venus-Saturn conjunction. 6 major planetary events in under 48 hours centered on a full moon eclipse. A University of Washington study found that eclipse geometry tidal forces can spike fault triggering probability by up to 9 times on already loaded faults. The eclipse on March 3rd is the spark window. For window 2, you're looking at M8 class territory around March 5th. Source 2. NOAA Space Weather plus University of Tokyo. 2023 peer-reviewed major geomagnetic storms spike seismic probability by 34% in the 5-day window after. AR-4366 re-enters Earth view at the very start of window 1, if it fires that 34% stack straight on top of the alignment peak. Minute 6. Source 3. This one's official, and it's the one that changes the whole long-term picture. February 22nd, 2026, NOAA officially declared the first spotless day since 2022. 0 active regions, blank sun. Here's the counterintuitive part, and this trips people up every time. A quieter sun does not mean a safer Earth. During solar maximum, Earth's magnetic field gets reinforced by constant, dense solar wind pressure. During the descending phase, which just officially started, that reinforcement fades out. Coronal holes take over as the dominant feature. Coronal holes produce sustained 3 to 5 day high-speed streams, not a sharp 1-day CME punch, a 5-day sustained grind. The 50-year seismic record is pretty clear on this. More major earthquakes occur during the descending phase than at solar maximum. 2025 was the 7th most seismically active year on record at peak solar maximum, driven by unusually large coronal holes. Now the descending phase is confirmed. Coronal holes will dominate for the next 2 to 3 years of solar cycle 25. We're at the start of this, not the end. The current coronal hole, NOAA, confirmed favorable magnetic polarity, meaning up to 40% stronger ionospheric coupling to Earth's magnetosphere. Meanwhile, on the far side, confirmed by JSOC heliosismology, AR-4366 is still firing, roughly 2 CMEs per day. NOAA told amateur radio operators on February 22nd, direct quote, "Enjoy the quiet. It won't last more than 3 to 4 days." When AR-4366 returns, X-class flare probability jumps from near 0 to 25% plus within the first couple of days back in view. 3 data sources, 3 independent tracking systems, all flagging the same window February 27th to March 5th. A bomb cyclone is straight up hammering the East Coast. Central pressure 969 millibars. That's Category 2 hurricane intensity. During snowstorm season, after 2 back-to-back winter storms that already buried the Northeast this year. A guy in Philadelphia posted this morning, 3rd storm in 6 weeks. I'm basically running out of places to put the snow. But here's what his weather app didn't tell him. Here's what 99% of forecast models don't include and never have. 36 hours before this bomb cyclone peaked, a coronal hole high-speed stream slammed into Earth. Solar wind velocity 650 kilometers per second, roughly 1.4 million miles per hour. And the connection to the blizzard is documented. Journal of Geophysical Research, peer-reviewed. Here's the actual physics, no hand-waving required. Earth's ionosphere normally sits at 250,000 volts of electric potential. When a coronal hole high-speed stream hits, that spikes to 350,000 volts or more. That's a 100,000 volt surge cascading downward through Earth's global electric circuit. Into the stratosphere, into the troposphere, straight into any weather system that happens to be running at that moment. Which brings us to the snow lightning over Manhattan. And this is where it gets actually wild. A high school physics teacher in Brooklyn was standing outside at 2 a.m. watching the storm roll in. She saw a flash crack across the sky. Her first thought, "That's impossible, it's snowing." She was right that it should be impossible. Normal lightning requires warm air rising fast enough to create charge separation. Below 32 degrees Fahrenheit convective charging breaks down. Snow lightning means the electric field overcame the cold barrier entirely, forcing impossible plasma discharges. The storm's estimated internal voltage 10 to 100 megavolts, up to 100 million volts, already off the charts for a winter storm. Then the ionosphere charged up from the space weather stream, amplifying the electric gradient by an estimated 100,000 additional volts. That pushed the storm past the threshold, lightning in conditions where lightning has no business existing. Over 2,000 people photographed it. That physics teacher posted her picture. It went viral by 4 a.m. Every single one of them was documenting, without knowing it, direct physical proof that space weather intensifies ground-level storms. And here's why this is not a one-off event. The February X-class burst from AR-4366 already charged the global electric circuit. That charge is still in the system right now. The current coronal hole stream is actively adding to it. And in 3 to 4 days. AR4366 comes back and recharges the whole thing. Spring 2025, same setup, same solar pattern. Tornado outbreak in February and March caught every major weather service completely flat-footed. Anyone watching the solar data saw it weeks out. It wasn't random, it was predictable, and it went largely unpredicted. Forecast for March and April 2026 elevated tornado outbreak potential across central and southern U.S. Not guaranteed elevated. The same solar fingerprint is already replicating. This is the early warning. Before the warnings get issued, don't skip the next section. This is where all three systems lock together into a single map. Here's the unified 10-day timeline. Write it down, screenshot it, send it to people you care about. Today, February 22nd, M7.1 Malaysia. First spotless sun since 2022. Bomb cyclone East Coast. Next, 24 to 48 hours. Coronal hole stream at 650 kilometers per second still active. Geomagnetic storm in progress. 65% probability of major storm at high latitudes. February 24th to 25th, first seismic response window. M5.5 to M6 plus probable. Pacific Ring of Fire broad watch zone. February 26th to 27th, AR4366 rotates back into Earth view. Radio blackout risk jumps. X-flare watch goes active. February 27th to March 1st, critical window. Venus-Mercury-Earth alignment plus lunar convergence plus AR4366 return. All at once. 3 independent drivers stacking simultaneously. Range M6.5 to M7.5 expected. Upper tail into M8 territory is real. March 2nd to 3rd, Mercury, Sun, Mars. Full moon, total lunar eclipse, Pacific coast to Hawaii. First in 3 years. March 3rd to 5th, second critical window. 6 planetary events in 48 hours. Tightest convergence cluster of 2026. Seismic potential around March 5th, M7 range with tail risk into M8, Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Pacific Australia plate boundary. March through April, elevated tornado risk. Central and southern U.S. above the historical baseline, early season. That's the map. 10 days, 2 critical windows, 3 converging systems. Now, what do you actually do with this? Because this is where most videos bail. Here's the deal on preparedness. The window to act is always before the event, not during. After a major M7 Plus hit, hardware stores sell out of water within about 2 hours. That window closes fast. Right now, for most Americans, that window is still open. Here's how it breaks down by where you live. If you're on the West Coast or Pacific Rim seismic prep, 3 steps tonight, not next week. Step 1, 3 gallons of water per person. Stored. Here's what most people miss. Municipal pumps run on electricity grid down means 0 water pressure within 4 hours. Step 2. Know your building's seismic rating. Pre-1980 construction in California means soft story risk. That's a lot of buildings. SF.gov and LA City Portal have free public lookup databases. Search your address. Takes literally 2 minutes. Step 3. Hand crank NOAA weather radio. $25 at any hardware store. Cell towers fail within hours of a major seismic event. 5G towers run on 4 to 8 hour battery backup. After that silence, the hand crank radio keeps working. If you're in the Northeast or Midwest power grid prep. And heads up, this part is honestly overlooked. The electronics industry doesn't advertise this. Standard surge protectors don't protect against geomagnetic induced current. A GIC event doesn't travel through your power line like a regular surge. It comes up through the ground through the neutral conductor in your home's wiring. Your standard $20 surge strip basically useless against it. GIC-rated surge protectors exist. They run $60 to $120. Your router, your modem, your CPAP machine, your smart home hub, none of them survive a GIC event behind a regular power strip. If you fly frequently, 1 hour at FL 360 during an S2 radiation storm equals roughly 1 chest X-ray of cosmic ray exposure. 100,000 polar miles per year adds up fast. For everyone, 5 bookmarks, all free, all real-time, no algorithm, no paywall. 1 USGS Earthquake Hazards Program, 2 NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center, 3 NASA JPL Small Body Database, 4 SpaceWeatherLive.com, 5 Zoom.Earth for live storm satellite imagery. All 5 update within 24 hours, several of them hourly. Verify everything in this video yourself. That's not a disclaimer. That's the point. Here's what the verified science actually says: no hype, no spin. The SSGI model called February 16th and 22nd within 24 hours. That's the track record. NOAA's Spotless Day officially confirms the solar cycle is entering its historically most seismically active phase. A 34%